Welcome. This is Anvita, and welcome to my channel, Sky Astrology, which is a sacred space where we connect the sky above to the sky within us, helping us uncover our cosmic truth. So, in the last episodes, we explored Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, and its ruler, the fiery ruler, Mars. So, today we are going to look at the second sign of the zodiac, which is Taurus. So, as the sign says, the bull. So, if you're born between April 28th and May 28th, your sun sign is going to be Taurus. So, that's your ego and core self. Taurus basically a sign of patience, strength, and sensuality. These are the keywords which we'll look at in the later episode, and the myths which define the keywords. But even if your sun isn't in Taurus, still, I would like you to watch this episode because you might have a planet in Taurus, or at least one of your houses will definitely fall in Taurus. Because, as I always say, the energies of the entire zodiac is within all of us. So, true enlightenment is comes from understanding that, I believe, and accessing these energies consciously rather than simply operating on a default mode like my sun is Taurus and that's all what I am. No, we are everything. The entire cosmos is within us. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm, and that's the belief I live by. So Taurus is ruled by Venus, um, and Venus also rules Libra. So there are two signs which rules Venus, which is the planet of love, beauty, and pleasure. But we will save it for next episodes. Today, I will focus entirely on Taurus. So if we look at the symbol of Taurus, we see the horns of the bull. So this is not a random image, but it is connected to the myths of Taurus, which is actually represented by bull, which captures the essence of the sign. So to really understand Taurus and the bull with the horns, let's dive into the myths that shape its archetype. So there are quite a few myths as we explored in Mars, but there are main three myths which we'll look at. Actually, the two main ones which we'll look at for Taurus and to try to understand the sign of Taurus with that. So the first most important myth of Taurus is the myth of Zeus, which is a Greek mythology, and Europa. So let's dive into this story. So Zeus, the king of gods, um, he spots Europa on the earth. She was a princess. She was radiant, beautiful, and he was captivated by her beauty and drawn to her presence. But he knew he can't just appear as a god because it will be very, very overwhelming for Europa. So what does he do? He transforms himself into a magnificent white bull. And it was just not that any bull, right? It was strong, had a very strong, calm, graceful, beautiful presence. A presence which make you stop in your tracks. And that's what happened with Europa. She sees this incredible creature and instead of fear, she feels drawn to the bull. There's something in its gentle strength that called to her. And slowly and cautiously she moved towards her towards the bull and climbed onto its back. And the bull begins to move. So, with a lot of grace, steadiness, and unwavering strength and trust, he moves across the sea to Crete, where Zeus lives, and he carries her safety. Every step measured, every movement purposeful, with this determination, patience, calmness, and calm power. He reaches Crete, and there is no rush. So this is actually the Taurian energy. Taurus doesn't charge ahead impulsively like Aries. So if this bull would have been like Aries, it would have charged ahead and showed Zeus to Europa and said, come with me, I want you. But Taurus didn't do that. It was more conscious. So Taurus moved with intention. It protected its values, supported what Zeus loved, and creating a sense of stability wherever it goes, right? So that's why Europa was captivated and drawn to the gentle strength, the strength which you can lean on, the calmness in the chaos, the steadiness that guides someone safely across uncertain waters. And she was certain that she will be safe. So, Zeus in the form of bull represents that energy. But with all that, this bull was also irresistibly beautiful, as Europa was drawn to his appearance as well. So that's another quality of Taurus. It's an element of desire and attraction here. So she was allured and tempted and captivated, not just by the reliability, but the beauty of it. And Taurus energies love has a love for beauty, luxury, comfort, and the things that's why they're very sensual. They're drawn to the things that delight the senses. Taurian energy, Taurus, craves for what feels good, what looks good, what smells good, what tastes good. It's ruled by Venus after all, right? And in that myth, we see that bull itself is irresistible. So this is how sometimes we can see the Taurian energy playing out. We can think that it is materialistic and indulgent tendencies, which can be another extreme of Taurus energy. But a lot of times it's not for the greed for its own sake, but it's the deep attraction to the pleasure and beauty and comfort. So if you see a Taurus ego self or Taurus sun, they always want to surround themselves with what feels abundant and safe, sometimes to the point of, we can say, attachment or overindulgence. So that's one aspect of Taurian energy. Another story which talks about Taurus is the wild side of Taurus, the Cretan Bull. So, um, Poseidon, the god of the oceans, it's also a Greek mythology, sent this bull to King Minos. So it was meant to be sacrificed, but it was so magnificently beautiful that Minos decided that he doesn't want to sacrifice the bull. So Poseidon gets very angry because it was meant to sacrifice, and he punishes Minos by making his wife, Persephone, fall in love with the bull, and which happens, and eventually that lead to the birth of Minotaur. If you have read the Greek mythology, it was an untamable demon, a bull, right? Later, as the story goes on, we'll not look into it, but hero Hercules, he captures the bull as one of his 12 labors because the bull was causing destruction. So Cretan bull represent another side of Taurus, the stubborn side, the persistent, the untamable energy of Taurus. So Taurus are very gentle and they are very nurturing, but Taurus energy can be very, very determined. It's resistant to change and unwilling to be rushed or controlled. So that's another side of um, Taurus energy, which we can see from this myth. So what? So bringing back all of this together, what are the keywords and what are the things which the qualities of Taurus? So first of all, as we looked in the myth, Bull was loyal and devoted. So Taurus are incredibly loyal and devoted people, very steady, reliable, protective in their relationships, friendships, and life in general. You can really count on them. They are very patient and very steadfast. So they don't rush, they build slowly, carefully, and deliberately. Again, as we saw from the stories, this is kind of quiet power in their patience, which is very different to the Aries energy, but is one of the most defining traits of Taurian energy, that they are very patient. And they also have a strong, gentle strength, not a powerful strength. They have a very, very gentle strength, and which combined the power with kindness, they have a very grounded energy around them because they are very strong without being harsh. There's a calm stability I always find in Taurine energy. They are very determined and hardworking, again, as we see from the story. So once they set a goal, nothing shakes them. They move steadily towards it, unstoppable in their persistence. And I believe, and the Taurus energy is very generous in nature. They freely offer love, support, stability, and care. Uh, so these are, I don't like to say the spectrum of Taurus energy, right? But there are some challenges or another spectrum of Taurus energy when it is go, you take it to another extreme. So they are very persistent, but they can be very stubborn. They are resistant to change, holding on to the routine beliefs and relationships long past their usefulness because they can be very persistent. And another thing about them is they love so deeply, and sometimes that deep attachment can lead to possessiveness, control, protectiveness. All that can come up with Taurine energy. And another thing, they love comfort, pleasure, but if you take it to another extreme, they can overdo it. There's overindulgent tendency in them. Um, they can do anything that satisfies that their senses. And as I said, they have a very slow and careful approach. Something sometimes turns into reluctance to act. A similar thing where action is necessary, they will not want to take any action. They can be slow in taking action. So it can become inertia. And lastly, they are so focused on for them, they are very so sensual and they are feeling the world through their senses. And they want to, you know, um, take care of that. They want to surround themselves with the beauty, which pleasure their senses. But sometimes to another extreme, to others, they seem to be self-absorbent. So they can be focused on a lot on their own needs and desires and comfort, which can make them seem a little closed off to others' perspective, right? So they seem to be self-absorbed. People might think you are self-absorbed. So these are the keywords I would say of Taurine energy or Taurus. But now these traits are, if you can really relate to it, if you have a sun in the Taurus. But if you don't have sun in Taurus, you might have other planets in Taurus. That will change a little bit. The keywords would remain same, but different aspects of you will show that energy. Or if you don't have any planets, where these planets are in which houses, and that will add another flavor to it. And we'll talk about it now. So if, as I said, Sun in Taurus, you can really relate to it. It's your ego, your sense of self. You know this energy. But think about it, if your moon is in Taurus, your emotions are in Taurus. Honestly, for me, I love moon in Taurus people because because their emotions are quite grounded and they are very emotionally mature souls. That's what I have found. Their feelings are steady, reliable, and moon is really happy in Taurus. They don't, because moon feels comfortable in that Taurian energy, and they don't swing wildly like some other signs in their emotional landscape. But sometimes they're emotional because Taurus is materialistic. So sometimes Taurian moons can sometimes seek emotional security in material things. A beautiful home, a cozy space, or other comforts would make me feel better. Of course, the house placements changes the flavor. So if this moon in Taurus is in first house, so make someone naturally self-possessed and calm. And moon in Taurus in seventh house, emotional insecurity through relationship. So they might give materialistic things to their partner. They want stability in their partnership. They might be slow to act. but they love love. Now, if you look at Mercury, which is your thinking, your communication in Taurus, you will be very thoughtful and practical in your approach. Their thinking will be deliberate, pragmatic, and grounded. If I give you an example, like my Mercury is an Aquarius, which is exalted. It's very, very fast thinking. I can think on my feet, but it's also it's very curious. Just want to move from one place to another, and I can read 3 books at a time. But and sometimes I forget as well. It's very active. But Mercury and Taurus, they are not mentally slow, but their communication is very deliberate, right? They take time, they mull things over and try to understand it. And usually comes to a solid conclusion, even if it is slower to alive. So for me, as a Mercury in Aquarius, Mercury in Taurus can be a little bit of difficult to understand for both of us, because they might find me taking too much space, or my communication can be faster, and for me they can seem to be a bit slower. So it's all about understanding the energy, how you think. But again, in different houses, it can change the flavor. So Mercury in Taurus in the 11th house might communicate steadily and reliable in friendships or groups, while Mercury in Taurus in 4th house, which is home, express thoughts carefully in family matters or personal spaces. So if you want to look at another planet, Venus is happy in Taurus because Venus rules Taurus. It's a beautiful energy. People with displacement love beauty, pleasure, and stability. They are very loyal, committed, and indulgent partners. To be a partner of Venus and Taurus person, they value comfort and sensuality. If you like stability, and if you have a Venus is an earth sign, Venus in Taurus can really give you that stability of a home. So if it is in second house, they show a strong connection to material comfort and values. That's what they offer to their spouse. If Venus in Taurus is in 7th house, they offer loyalty and sensuality in partnership. So that's how Taurus energy plays out in different in through different planets and houses. Now, the last thing is Mars. If you look at Mars, we looked at it, the Mars in Taurus, Mars is the warrior, the action oriented planet, the masculine energy. When it is in Taurus, think about it. It becomes a little bit slow, but it's unstoppable because it's determined. So goals are pursued with patience, endurance, and yes, sometimes it can be determined, can be stubborn as well. So in 10th house, the career, it can show a person who climbs this career ladder steadily, but it refuses to quit. But in Taurus, in the 3rd house, it pursues communication, learning, or local initiatives with persistence and focus. So that's how, as I say, Taurus energy is always about grounded persistence, loyalty, and sensuality. But the planet and house it sits in changes how it expresses itself. And now, if there's no planet, but there will be a house where your Taurus, so that energy is there in you, which you might not be consciously aware, as your sun in Taurus will be aware of, right? So that's how, but it is definitely will be there. So as I close the episode, Taurus embodies a fascinating duality. If I look at gentle strength and steadfast patience on one side, and the stubborn, persistent determination and untamed power on the other. And the myths of Zeus and as the bull and the Cretan bull remind us that Taurus teaches the value of moving deliberately, honoring what we love, and balancing indulgence with restraint. So I would ask yourself, how can we remain grounded, patient, and loyal where you are all of these things while embracing our desires and harnessing our inner power? So Take a look at your Taurus, where it is, which house, which planets are in. And because Taurus energy is also in you, because the entire sky is within you. That these archetypes aren't out there, they live inside of us. And when we understand them and we consciously access them, we stop reacting. We start living with more awareness and intention. So, thank you. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for tuning in to Sky Astrology. If you like this episode, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon so as you never miss an episode. And if you like a reading, please reach out on the details below on Sky Astrology. Until next time, stay grounded, stay passionate, and stay connected to the sky within you. Thank you. Bye bye.